Hello guys, this video we will begin from chapter 2 of unit 3. Title is Administration of Justice in British India. Previous video we saw Hindu law, classical Hindu law, that all concepts. Now we have administration of justice in British era. Read the following passage and debate on impact of British laws in India. Now that debate portion, it should happen between your friend group. During the Great War of 1914 to 1918, British had instituted censorship of press and permitted detention without trial. That means whatever or what articles would be published in newsletters, in newspapers, or what type of articles would be circulated in magazines, in various regional papers, what would be taken up on the television or radio, that all was censored, that all was having controlled by the British government. And they had allowed to arrest people, to give imprisonment terms to the people without getting a trial done in courts. By this time, you must know what trial means. To present oneself in court. Okay? जब हम कहते हैं इसकी पेशी होनी है, everybody is given a chance to speak his part. है ना, कि आपने काम क्यों किया, आप अपने पक्ष में कुछ कहना चाहेंगे, आपने देखा होगा ये स्टेटमेंट या कहीं सुना होगा टीवी वगैरह में. सो दैट इज ट्रायल. जो प्रोसीडिंग्स कोर्ट में चलती हैं, दैट इज ट्रायल. सो विदाउट ट्रायल भी लोगों को अरेस्ट करके उनको प्रिजन में रखना अलाउड था. ऑन रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ अ कमिटी चेयर्ड बाय सर सिडनी रॉलैट, these tough measures were continued. They were themselves doing all these measures. They made a committee that whether we are doing it right or wrong. The committee, which was headed by Sir Sidney Rowlatt, he said that these tough measures are okay. It is the need of the time and it must be continued, so on. In response, Gandhiji called for a countrywide campaign against the Rowlatt Act. The suggestions of the committee, which was headed by Sir Sidney Rowlatt, and the act which it passed, that was known as the Rowlatt Act. Against this, Gandhiji called for a nationwide campaign. In towns across North and West India, life came to a standstill. Means it stopped because shops were closed, schools were closed. See, it was nationwide campaign, means भारत बंद जिसको आजकल बोला जाता है, ऐसा कुछ था. इसलिए हर चीज बंद कर दी गई थी. जैसे यहाँ पर लॉकडाउन हुआ तो हर चीज बंद हो गई थी. स्कूल्स, कॉलेजेस, शॉप्स, सब कुछ बंद हो गया था. That was the same situation. Protests were particularly intense in Punjab, where many men had served on British side in war. British war हो रहा था, तो वो लोग वॉर लड़ने के लिए भी कोई चाहिए. यू नीड सोल्जर्स ऑन द फोरफ्रंट. कहाँ से आते थे ये सोल्जर्स? उन कंट्रीज से जहां पर ब्रिटिशर्स रूल करते थे. इंडिया वॉज वन ऑफ देम. सो इंडियन पीपल और द इंडियन सोल्जर्स, दे वर टेकन टू द फोरफ्रंट ऑफ द वॉर फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिशर्स साइड, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ दोज पीपल वर फ्रॉम पंजाब. सो अब पंजाब में अगर ज्यादातर लोग वहां से लड़ने जा रहे हैं तो ज्यादा इंटेंस और ज्यादा प्रोटेस्ट पंजाब में ही हो रहे थे, एक्सपेक्टिंग टू बी रिवॉर्डेड फॉर देयर सर्विस. इंस्टेड दे वर गिवन द रॉलेट एक्ट. नाउ द पीपल ऑफ पंजाब, बिकॉज दे हैड सर्व्ड फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिशर्स साइड, दे फॉट, दे वन. So now they were expecting that we have done such a great work, there should be some reward in return for that, for our service. But there was no reward, rather they were given the Rowlatt Act. Gandhiji was detained while proceeding to Punjab, even as prominent legal congressmen were arrested. Now you see, arrest without a trial. Situation in province grew progressively more tense, reaching a bloody climax in Amritsar in April 1919 when a British brigadier ordered his troop to open fire on a nationalist meeting. More than 400 people were killed in what is known as the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And everybody is known of this massacre, right? So that was a peaceful nationalist meeting at that time which was going on. Thousands of men, women, children, old age people, they all were gathered there. There was only one gate to enter and to exit that place. General Dyer, who ordered to kill all those people, he shut down that gate and the fire was open on those hundreds or thousands of people, in which there was a bloody end. British rule in India is responsible for development of common law based legal system. The development of British common law based system can be traced to arrival and expansion of British East India Company in India in 17th century. East India Company gained a foothold in India in 1612 after Mughal Emperor Jahangir granted it the rights to establish a factory in port of Surat. This you may have studied in your earlier classes in history, that in the 17th century is 1600 to 1699. So in between of that is 1612. Mughal Emperor Jahangir, he granted the permission and the British officer and Jahangir signed a contract in which Jahangir replied in affirmative or granted permission to the Britishers to establish a factory in Surat. So that was basically a trade sort of agreement. As we say, East Indian Company or the Britishers had come into India to do a trade with us, but later on they became our masters. They started ruling over us. In 1640, East India Company established a second factory in Madras. Bombay Island, a former Portuguese outpost, was gifted to England as dowry in marriage of Catherine of Braganza to Charles II and was later leased to East India Company in 1668. Now you see how various portions were slowly and gradually coming under the control of East India Company. First, factory in Surat. Second, factory in Madras. Third, Bombay Island as a dowry gift. And then that was leased to East India Company only. In early 17th century, the Crown, through a series of charters, established a judicial system in Indian towns of Bombay, Madras, Calcutta, basically for the purpose of administering justice within the establishments of British East India Company. Governor and council of these towns formulated these judicial systems independently. So early 17th century, the Crown, that is the Prince or the Queen of England, through a series of charters, it established a legal judicial system in Bombay, Madras and Calcutta, which was basically under the control of British East India Company at that time in early 17th century, so that there may be proper and efficient administration of justice. Courts in Bombay, Madras were called Admiralty Courts. Court in Calcutta was called Collector's Court. Please underline this. It may be a part of question, what was Admiralty Court or what was Collector Court. These courts had authority to decide both civil and criminal matters. So in India today we have two different courts, civil court and criminal court. Civil court for family related disputes or civil matters. Criminal court for criminal dispute for crime related matters. But at that time, these courts, which were established through a series of charters or the judicial system at that time, which was established by the British East India Company, these courts dealt with all kinds of matters, both civil and criminal. Interestingly, courts did not derive their authority from Crown but from East India Company. Crown ने establish जरूर किया एक judicial system in India, लेकिन authority किसके पास थी? Final authority किसके पास थी? East India Company के पास. So this company was established in India, East India Company, or Crown was directly from England. Charter issued by King George I on 24 September 1726 marks an important development in Indian legal history. This charter forms the basis for establishment of Crown's courts in India. British East India Company requested King George to issue a charter by which special power could be granted to the company. Now you see, as I told you, Crown is the king or queen of that time of England. So King George I, who was ruling that time, 24th September 1726 was an important or landmark development that took place in Indian legal history, wherein the East India Company requested the Crown or the King George to issue a charter by which special powers or special authority would be granted to the British East India Company to rule or to administer power in India. Accepting the letters patent of 1726 and subsequent charters had in effect applied English law to British India as well as discussed here. Establishment of Mayor's Courts. Expansion of its establishments brought new challenges to East India Company. The company requested King to issue a charter by which special powers could be granted to it. So Mayor's Courts, judicial system यहाँ establish हो चुका था. There was various expansions, but ये expansion East India Company के लिए एक challenge थी, क्योंकि उसके पास कुछ कंट्रोल नहीं था. चार्टर इशू करने का कंट्रोल, एडमिनिस्टर करने का कंट्रोल सारा क्राउन के पास था डायरेक्ट. सो नाउ एंड देन company was continuously requesting the king that you issue a charter by which special power or authority is with us, with the company. The company was granted charter by King George I in 1726 to establish Mayor's Courts in Madras, Bombay, Calcutta. Mayor's Courts were not courts of company but courts of King of England. So the charter which was requested by the company, it was granted that in 1726 so as to establish Mayor's Courts in the three presidencies which it was having at that time, Madras, Bombay and Calcutta, which are now, everybody knows, Chennai, Mumbai and Kolkata respectively. Mayor's Courts, that doesn't mean if the company is demanded, that doesn't mean it is the court for the company. It is the court of King of England. Mayor's Courts superseded all existing courts established in above places. Whatever or whichever level court was there in India in these three places at that time, with this charter, with the establishment of Mayor's Courts in these areas, those existing courts, they had no value now. Mayor's Courts were authorized to try, hear, determine all civil suits, actions and pleas that may arise within 3 towns or within the factories of company. So these Mayor Courts, what was its jurisdiction? To try means to get a proceeding done, to hear and to determine, to give the verdict regarding the civil suits, actions or petitions or the disputes that are arising in these 3 areas or the factories which the company owns. फैक्ट्री में अगर कोई डिस्प्यूट हो रहा है 2 लोगों के बीच, या इन 3 टाउन्स में जहां उनकी प्रेसिडेंसी थी तब वहां पर कुछ डिस्प्यूट हो रहा है, तो उससे रिलेटेड ये मेयर कोर्ट का जुरिस्डिक्शन था. The court consisted of a mayor and 9 aldermen, 7 of whom, including the mayor, were required to be naturally born British subjects. ब्रिटिश कोर्ट था, ब्रिटिशर्स को इम्पोर्टेंस तो दी जाएगी. सो दैट टाइम, जैसे यहाँ पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एक स्ट्रेंथ होती है जजेस की, दैट इज 34 राइट नाउ, 33 प्लस 1, 33 जजेस एंड वन इज द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया. उसी तरीके से वहां पर at that time there was a strength decided for the mayor's court, which was a mayor, 9 aldermen. ठीक है, so there were 9 aldermen and mayor. Those aldermen, 7 of whom, including the mayor, उस 7 में mayor included था. So mayor and the other 6 people, there were 9 aldermen, out of which 7, including the mayor, needed to be naturally born British citizen. Means needed to be born in England. Aldermen were elected from among the leading inhabitants of settlement to hold the position for life. तो ये जो रैंक थी, that was for whole life of that person. एक बार वो वहां आ गया तो अपनी पूरी जिंदगी वो उसी रैंक और पोजीशन को होल्ड करेगा. Mayor was elected from aldermen. Aldermen were elected from the leading inhabitants of that area. ठीक है, and the position was for lifetime. Mayor was elected from among those 9 aldermen. Now, from here, next video.